YouTube, BigH Trucking, looking all green like a Christmas tree today. How's everyone doing? Hello, YouTube. All right, I'm sitting at the Pittston terminal. I just got a call from Prime's truck shop that I am ready. I got a door 17. So yeah, I'm back at the terminal. If you've been following my videos, I've been journaling my problems with this truck, one after another. Nothing major, but also it's a nuisance. It's got to be done. It's got to be taken care of. So the latest was the antifreeze leak, but I tightened up the clamps on the hoses. I noticed that I could get a couple turns out of them, so I absolutely. I took my tool set out, became a mechanic, and tightened them up, and that seemed to have stopped the leak. On Saturday, I got my fuel filters changed, but they couldn't do a complete PM because they didn't have the correct oil that Prime recommends that these trucks take. So the reason why I did come back was I got a little frightened about the antifreeze leak, and being that my drop is only 60 miles away from Pittston, I notified dispatch, my fleet manager, that it's probably best that I go to Pittston and get this stuff done. So my PTA is out for 10 o'clock tonight. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to go out at 10 o'clock tonight. I hope I do, because I can drive the night. But if not, probably first thing in the morning I get a PTA, because trying to get a trailer out of here is going to be interesting. I mean, for the holiday week, it's not bad. There's a lot of trucks coming in, but there's also trucks going out. So it's not overly, if you know what Pittston looks like around holiday time, it's basically you can't move anywhere. I just want to touch a little bit on this whole controversy. Well, maybe it's not a controversy, but this whole mishap what happened with that young kid in Colorado, that he got 110 years for, killing 4 people. So I've had a couple people ask me, like, where do you stand with that? Well, I think 110 years is a little too harsh. I mean, that's ridiculous. There's people that kill, murder, rape, and kidnap and don't even get that type of time. In fact, I was reading an article from Nebraska. It happened a couple of years ago, 2016 actually, where a truck driver ran into a minivan, killed the family, 3 people. I don't know if it was a family, but 3 people. And he got 180 days and a $100 fine. But supposedly Colorado's mandate for that type of crime is 100 years. So that's Colorado's penal system. We all can agree that the court system or our justice system is broken. Doesn't make any sense. But on the other side of the fence, he only had a year experience. Well, after a year, I knew better than to drive in the mountains without using my Jake brakes. So I'm not going to take sides on that. If he found something wrong with the truck, because this company has a history of failing DOT inspections, that's why you get out each and every morning and do a pre-trip and walk around the truck. That's how I found my antifreeze leak, is by walking around the truck and looking for problematic things. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know. I can look at the thickness of my brakes, but there's things that I miss. And fortunately, it's not a catastrophe. But from reading and doing a little research on the sentencing of this kid, he turned down a plea agreement. It's written in black and white. He decided to go to court, and he lost. Is that on the attorney? Yeah, because the kid's young, he's 23 years old. I don't know if he speaks English fluently. I don't know if he could read signs. But he missed three truck ramps going down that road. And there's a dash cam footage, if you didn't see it, somewhere out there on the internet, where he came screaming by a bunch of cars. And it really, it was like a missile. Folks, when you have this truck, you're driving this truck, This becomes a missile. This becomes a missile. Becomes a weapon of destruction. And anybody new that's coming in, if you're not sure about something, you have to ask questions. It's really that simple. It's not rocket science. If you don't know how to drive the mountains, you make sure that you tell whomever you're working for, like, I can't do that. I don't have any experience in the mountains. And if they fire you, they fire you. That's on them. That's at least, you know what? You can move on to another day. This kid's life is over. Irregardless whether he does 100 years, he does 50 years, or 25 years, his career as a truck driver will never be. You know, he's going to have to live for the rest of his life that he took 4 lives, which is something that shouldn't have happened. Again, he had 3 chances to go take those truck ramps along 70 and avoid that, and he didn't. Was it because he was panicking and nervous? Maybe that's part of it. Maybe he just didn't read. He didn't read English, or couldn't read English. Excuse me, he couldn't read English. But when you take a job as a truck driver, you have to get the proper training. And if your trainer sucks, and I've heard war stories, it's up to you to open your mouth and say to whomever, go above, go to your fleet manager, go to whatever your company's totem pole is, the I'm looking for the right word here, the hierarchy, whoever that is, you have to go. And if they don't listen, then you go above them. And if they don't listen, you keep going until somebody gives you feedback. Because to be a trainer takes a lot of patience. You know, you have to go back and remember what it was like when you first got in the truck, right? I didn't know nothing. And so when you're training somebody, now I have a few years of experience. I don't know it all. I don't claim to ever know it all. I learn something new every day, especially when it comes to the maintenance of the truck. I would sit up in the front seat with my trainer and pick his brain. It was my responsibility to ask questions. It was up to me to make the mistakes and for him to say, okay, this is how you correct those mistakes. But as a trainer, you have to go back to the way it was when you were just a trainee and not be that 2, 3, 5, 10-year guy who it comes to second nature and you get frustrated. I'm not going to make a good trainer, and I keep talking about this for a few reasons. I need sleep. Part of me don't have the patience, honestly, I'm being honest with you, to constantly repeat myself over and over again. You know, that's just my character flaw. But I know that. So I'm not going to do something because it adds another $2,000-$3,000 to my paycheck. I'm not going to put me getting upset or me losing my sleep and not being a good trainer. You know, sometimes, you know, it's hard for me to articulate what I want to happen. I am not good at that. I am, even though I was in sales and I did very well in sales, I don't have the patience. And again, really, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to expand on it. I don't have the patience to sit there and go through A, B, C, D, E over and over and over and over again. And again, I'm not going to do it just to put somebody else in the driver's seat and hope and pray that what I say goes over and they get it, just to make an extra couple dollars. That's not what I'm here for. I'm short term. My plan is very short. I'm an older person again. I'm only going to do this for 5, maybe 10 years tops. Somebody didn't train that kid correctly, or he never asked questions, or as an owner or operator or owner of the company, and they should be liable. They should be held liable I absolutely agree that they should go after this company for allowing that kid to get behind that wheel. Now, maybe the kid lied. You know, you can play tug of war with this. Maybe this kid lied and said, "Yeah, I got experience and I know how to drive and I can do that." And he misrepresented who he really was to the company, and the company handed him the keys and said, "Go ahead and deliver this 90,000-pound load of lumber." But as anybody who's coming into the business, and I'm going to cut this short because I got to go to the bay. Anybody's coming into the business, you have to take this job really seriously. And sometimes we all take things for granted, especially when we're in a groove, or we think that it'll never happen to me. I'm the best driver in the world. Humble yourself, because you're not. Know what you're capable of. Know what you're capable of not doing. And if you don't know what time of day it is, you have to ask somebody with a watch and ask what time of day it is. Meaning, if you don't know something, you got to seek it out. Don't do so. There's no way in God's green earth would I be. You know, I made a video prior to this one about the mountains in Pennsylvania, 80, 81, 83, 70, all those roads, etc. It's a great place if you're on the East Coast to learn how to drive the mountains. If you can master the mountains in the East, you're going to master the mountains in the West. My trainer set up with me and teach me while he was sitting there and guided me on how to use the Jake brakes and make sure I didn't over-rev the engine. And then once it clicked, and it was a couple of times, it didn't happen the first, second, and third time. It was like the fifth, sixth time, I got it. I knew when to set my Jake brakes. I knew what the RPM should be, not to go over 2,000 RPMs in the Peterbilt. Stab brake, not keep my foot riding on the brake, because that's going to heat up the drums or the disc brakes, whatever you've got. It took me a few times. Once I get comfortable with it, it didn't matter what mountain I was going down, I was confident. Because he sat there, and because I asked questions, is why I knew how to get to ride the mountains with confidence very early on. I feel bad for the whole situation. I don't think the kid is going to serve 110 years, but he's responsible. As a man, he's 23 years old, you become a man. You can go to war at 18 years old. You become a man. It's your responsibility as a man to know what your limitations are, know what your capabilities are, and if you don't know, if you can't do it, don't do it. Learning on the fly can be a double-edged sword. And with that being said, have a great day. Be safe. Always think twice before you make any type of move, especially with a 80,000-pound truck. Be good.